Hello, everybody. Well, I don't know what just happened. I've got the background mic on. 1 second, guys. Let me figure out where that is. There it is. All right, we'll close that off, guys. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. I hope everyone's having a great day. Obviously, there's a lot to cover through today's session. We're one day out from non-farms, highly volatile news coming through. Thank you very much to Scott and Morgan for getting things started. But I want to actually before I answer Scott's question, I would love to just show this. I was just randomly on the Twitters, follow FX Evolution on the Twitters. This guy, I don't know who it is, Batman Stonks. I just thought this was a hilarious video. So let's watch it together right now. Can you guys hear the audio? Let's find out. Can you hear the audio coming through this? Just tell me yes or no. We'll get rid of... I'm not sure if you can hear this. Hopefully you can. I love this stuff. You can't hear it? Okay. So basically what he's doing is he's taking all of the volume on AMC and he's showing the volume spikes that have come through. And he copies and pastes them. And then he pastes them on top of the one that happened, of course, in June, August. And what you'll notice is that they copy basically together. And then what he's saying is, of course, we're at the start of the September cycle. It's interesting. There's like cycles within cycles, or this is the concept. Look, I love this stat stuff. Obviously, is it, that good? Look, when you see reoccurring things, we saw that spike out before. Some of that type of stuff can happen. So, yeah, I think it's the type of thing that I always pay attention to. And if we get the right TA with it, again, it's partially actionable. Should you make your decisions based on it? Absolutely not. But I think it's hilarious how they copy across with each other. Very funny stuff there. Anyway, we'll get into the TA. We've got a question coming in here from Scott Morgan. He says $20. Well, firstly, let's get some claps here for Scott Morgan. Thank you very much, man. I'll give you a clap. Appreciate the support here. Would love to hear your damage control education if someone I knew were in Chewy at $88. All right, well, let's have a quick look here at Chewy. And then we'll get into our standard analysis going through the markets. We'll cover off the Nasdaq. We'll cover off Bitcoin. We'll cover off, obviously, the SP500, VIX, and more. All right, so Chewy here. I'm actually surprised that you're in this, or the person is in this. I thought we spoke about it yesterday. I really did. We had this line. We talked about this level being a problem. Specifically, I was talking about this issue being right here. Now, it's unfortunate that it's happened. So let's talk about what can you do in situations where you get stuffed by this. Look, Chewy's a good stock. It's likely to come back. So 78.70 down 10% here in the pre-market. Let's think about what's happened in previous earnings. This was a gap up in this case, and it filled that gap. This was a gap down, and it filled that gap quite fast afterwards. This was over here. Very negligible kind of gap over here, gap down, took a little while and then filled it. Traditionally, you don't want to necessarily just double dip, double down, all those things. You can get yourself in a lot of damage doing that type of stuff. I guess there's a high chance that it does try to fill the gap because of the nature of it. I would probably recognize day one. So let's find out whether a debt cap bounces today. Now, if it starts at 9% down, ends up, here, there's a chance we might fill and actually test from the top up. Remember, right around that 88 level or 86 level is where the previous supports are. So you do have that support. You have that partial support, which got gapped underneath. So right on this level, you could also put in a damage control level where if you got a quick dead cat bounce, you would just basically close your position, take a small loss and get out. That would also be one of the scenarios that I would consider. Another one would be find a base, which should be around this 76 level. Wait for it around here. Wait for it to accumulate. And then if you want to say, let's say, buy more of it, you could also do maybe a sold put with actual, a cash covered call, a cash covered position. You could also put in some kind of buy order when it comes out of accumulation and take a little bit of a percentage back through here. Really, there's not much other things you can do. You don't want to chase. One thing is you want to kind of ignore the trade a little bit and move on to the next one. If this becomes part of your long-term portfolio, then that could be an option for you as well. You may cut it today and just go with it. I tend to usually wait for that, especially on these type of techie style stocks, even though it's internet retail. We move up, we get that dead cat bounce, and I tend to cut them up because if it didn't work, well, I'm happy to take a few dollar loss. That's my personal opinion. It depends on your stop. It depends on so many things there, Scott. But just going and dollar cost averaging down is not really a great strategy. So I hope it stops at 76 for you. That makes perfect sense for it to kind of stop around here if it does keep going down. And if it dead cat bounces, I'd be very careful around this level. We'll keep revisiting a little bit later on. Thank you very much. Is everyone expecting a big day tomorrow? Look, we expect some fireworks to come through. I mean, basically, that is the nature of the non-farm payroll. Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it can cause large moves. Either or, the markets tend to move towards a level of resistance or a level of support, and usually are unlikely to break through those key levels. Now, we're talking about indices. We're talking about commodities, specifically things like DXY, gold, that kind of stuff. It tends to be high statistical chance it doesn't break through a resistance or support before those types of events. Let's move through each one of these markets though first. We'll start off with the QQQ. So we're up 0.29% on the tech this morning. We did see sell-off through yesterday's session. You can see here the 2-hour 20 moving average holding it up in the futures session. Sold off near the close there. Wall Street dumped it a little bit after having a nice rally in the morning. We have a clear resistance, 15.7. No surprise. That was exactly where we expected them to start selling it. We still have our deeper buy, which is that 15.4. And in all of this middle zone, we have the 15.6. So you might think, well, Tom, that's not rocket science. You're putting it on 100-point movements. Absolutely. Sometimes that is literally where the market goes to. It makes sense. It gravitates towards these key zones. Double zeros are always a well-known key zone. So we're in the middle of nowhere. We're close to the resistance over here of 15,000. What is it? 667 in the morning. We've broken through the 15,633 high here. And if you actually go over to the QQQ and we put it on a 2-day, if you missed today's video, you'll notice it's actually a long leg doji. So we have indecision ahead of non-farm payrolls. Is this a type of day that you like to trade indices? Technically, no. Unless you like to scalp inside of a range, you really don't want to trade too much a day before the non-farms, because if you get stuck into it, then all of a sudden you're sweating coming into the non-farm payrolls on your small time frames. You know what I mean? That there is risk there. Are there good trades in certain stocks? I think so. And we'll be taking a look at quite a few breakouts that are occurring or have occurred over the last 24 hours in stocks today. So long leg doji, we'll put the resistance and support in for you guys so you can see exactly where those levels are. And we expect to probably be at one of these points before the non-farm payrolls event occurs. Whether that be a 378 on the QQQ or a 382.70, I don't know which one, but you do tend to gravitate towards the resistance or the support. We'll move over to the US 500. We've got a bit of a tighter range here. We've stuck with a few pretty key levels, I think, the last couple of days. So we've had our intraday trading off the 45.20. If we go down to the 1 hour, you'll notice how good that's been. 45.20 being a fantastic zone to be buying those little dips through the sessions. I hope a few people have had some good luck there. We're currently trading at 45.35. I maintain probably a resistance at around 45.50 and around 4,600 for the S&P 500. I don't expect it to go ballistic today. Anything can happen. These are just stats, obviously, but that's my expectation coming into the session. It's a little bit of movement, 0.3, 0.4%, something like that would be pretty key, but usually to hold a resistance or a support zone. So they're the zones that we're looking at for the S&P 500. We'll move over to IWM, the Russell 2000. Still 224 on the low, 227 was closed above. You can see a little bit of buying pressure that came through the back end of the session. Currently trading at 228. 230 is the next resistance. So we've got a 230 next resistance there. Another thing also, Scott, sometimes if you're going into earnings and you're buying the stock, you could consider instead to use an option. That will at least limit your downside risk from these types of ones. So if you want to buy a call, you might want to buy just a short dated call. You're basically buying pure time. And if it pays off, obviously you can get that leverage into it as well with a call. Or you can buy, of course, a put if you think it's going to go down like that gentleman was doing the other day with the Zoom trade. So 224 here for IWM, 230 for the resistance. I think it's in that range. That's the way I'm kind of looking at it. We move over to the VIX, the volatility index, just underneath 16. I do expect this to spike tomorrow. I'm surprised that it's probably going to spike to at least a 17, you would think. Now, trading the VIX, I'm not a big fan of. I've talked about it several times. Cost, et cetera, is very expensive. But volatility is back down in the range that we start to think, okay, some volatility should come up, whether that's bullish volatility, because remember, the VIX can go up even if the market's going up heavily. Volatility just means big movement. Generally, it's fear because that spikes it way more. But volatility can be both ways. It can be both ways. Finkin79 says, I heard Zoom was Tom's favorite. No. There are only a few stocks I truly hate. SPCE, Zoom. Well, at this current valuation, I hate it less, okay? I used to hate it. I hated it a lot. But now I hate it less. And, of course, my favorite, Sundial, which I forgot about the other day. HJ Cal says, Tom crushed on GME 225 calls Friday expiring. Ooh. Thank you very much, HJ. And then we'll go Alpha T, $2. Thinking of scaling into JD at 80. We'll take a look at that in a second. So VIX, low. Markets, range bound. Bit boring, but clearly some great levels for us to be looking at over the next couple of sessions. And I do want to ask feedback of you guys. Do you enjoy this type of overview when we first get into the streams? Do you want us to always cover SP500, QQQ, the thoughts behind the market for the day? If you do, give us an upvote and also let us know in the comments. It does help us out. We've also got Tesla. Now, Tesla was down slightly on the session. I'm still hopeful for Tesla. Please, Tesla. Why wouldn't you go up? Come on, man. Come on, Elon. Where are you, man? You got to find me some more robots, some Cybertrucks. I need some news. The people need news, Elon. So we still have long leg doji. We didn't get follow through on this one yet. We are above the resistance. I'm hopeful it can get through. We do have big problems at 740, 750. But I did notice, and I posted this in today's video. The algo wasn't with us yesterday, by the way, guys. Nasty Wall Street not with us there. Unfortunate. But look at this. So I'm actually incredibly bullish Tesla in November, December. It's a great seasonal. And on top of that, I can already see that people are posting for it. So look at this 700 call. 45.66 million calls being posted way before that event. I think a few people are trying to play the seasonal here on Tesla, and they're trying to get that November pull. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Look at the bearish plays that are coming into it, though. September, October. I don't play into that as changing my psychology or anything. It's just interesting that there's a lot of calls sitting there in November. We know the seasonal comes through then. I'm hopeful that it can at least get to that 775, 750 range over the next couple of sessions. Let's hope it can. It is on breakout, but you never know with Tesla. It's fake. It's faked out a few times. Weekly, currently looking excellent. If it does close at these points, I would like it at 750 on the closure to really get the party started. That would be fantastic here on Tesla. Alpha T, thinking about JD. Let's take a look at JD. JD. Thinking about $80. Well, look, we have liked JD for the last couple of days. Ever since it double bottomed, I've liked it quite a lot. You're thinking of scaling in at 80. Let's see, what is this price? I like 78. I don't mind 80 either. I think if you've got longer term plans, no problems with that. Both are decent levels, 78 and 80. 78 because it's the role reversal, but you don't really want to get back down there too quickly. It hit the daily 200. You would think it probably stops around here and consolidates a little bit. JD's been incredibly bullish in comparison to the other Chinese tech stocks. Also, if we take the double bottom range, let's have a look. The expectation's only 84 and it's currently trading at 81.36. So I'm not sure I'm like super feeling it, but I think that a good scale in here, you didn't quite get everything. So you might have gone some in here for sure. You may have also had some off that if you felt like it. You probably would have been targeting around this area here in terms of box. So I can see if you missed this, that would have been fine. You could have then taken a little bit scaled off the resistance here if you wanted to add the extra scale. And then now you are looking at either this level or 80. You are correct. You are correct. It's probably a bit of a late scale, I feel. But yeah, is there Alpha T? Good luck. How are the cannabis stocks looking? Breakouts did not hold. Did not hold. How about Tencent? Yeah, we'll look at Tencent. You guys really loving these stocks. All the bargain basement hunters. All the bargain basement hunters. So Tencent, another one that broke our channel and then fully rejected into it. Look, it's a bad looking candle. Okay. In first glance, you look at this and you think, ooh, damn, that looks really bad. This is actually an opportunity for potential scale the way that I see it. You've obviously got stop loss levels that you can think about. The problem with Tencent is that it fully rejected straight away. So can you really take a full position here from a technical standpoint? It's very difficult to take a full position into a shooting star style or pin bar rejection candle. I think that's very difficult. You've got your resistances. You are above it. You've rejected. You've gone above a long leg doji here, which is the indecision. So this is probably a first scale. Then you'd have like a scale above that. And if you had like something like this, then obviously you take the position here as well. It does look good, but that daily sucks. So you've got to be more careful. You can't just say, oh, close, let's take more position, if you know what I mean. Tencent on the breakout, but only the weekly will look cool at this stage. I would love the weekly to be above here. That would be so bullish coming into, getting that, what it would be like a 490, 498, 499 into Friday's close. Significant base here for Tencent, and it does finally look good. For people that don't know how far off it is, percentage-wise, you're looking at 36% from the bottom, and then obviously from the top, you're looking at 56%. So remember, when you drop on a stock, to get back, you need a lot more percentage. That's why it's hard to recoup on losses taken into an account. You've got to be careful there. We'll take a look at cannabis stocks soon. Okay, you likes it. Keep the same format. Perfect. Great to hear. Thanks very much for the upvotes as well, guys. And thank you also for the 858 viewers joining us early here. We're about 40 minutes off the market open. We're about to start getting into some commodities. Then we'll get into some stocks and crypto. I'll actually go to the crypto market first just because Bitcoin's having a crack at 50,000 right now as we speak. So it has not ever closed above 49.7. Will today be the first time it does it? It got to 50,400 before, and then it's just hovering around this area. I don't need to tell you guys how important this kind of thing is for Bitcoin and for crypto market. If the crypto market can continue to bull off here and Bitcoin keeps going, it will strengthen everything else. And there was a decent trade here. I think whenever you see a candle like this getting busted and closed above, it really signals the next day is highly likely to be that direction, whether it be bullish or bearish. It's actually an excellent kind of trading day and not heavily utilized. Here's an example. Here's the big bull that ends up happening. Remember, it's taking out stop hunts and crushing them. It's crushing them. It's eating them alive. The sellers are being eaten. They're squeezed. It's not good. It's not good, but it's good for you if you can recognize it. It's a little bit of an advanced technique, I guess. Ethereum here, I think that's over. That's a beautiful move. 3,800. Could it go much higher? Absolutely. Will it go much higher? I'm sure it will. But that move makes sense. Yesterday, we kind of called a 3,700. we got a 38. So I feel like that could be a little bit of an overextension. Resistances are clearly at that 4,200 to 4,400 zone. So Bitcoin, let's look at the 1 hour. You really want to see buying around 49.4. And I would love to see 54 get taken out. That'll pull into 51.5, I feel, after it does that. Yeah, that's the kind of zones. Let's move over to gold and silver now. Gold, we'll use the other gold. Gold will most likely remain stuck within a range before non-farm payrolls. It doesn't tend to break a big resistance support, okay, before non-farm payrolls. So I expect it to be more sideways action until we get that extra information coming through. Then we've got silver, again, right at that peak. I like silver for the trade the most, but I need it above 24.20. And I, again, expect this to do not much ahead of the bigger news. $7, 77 cent, a $4 super sticker has a question here. Is CEI a penny trader's dream? Good morning, Sandollar. Great to have you here. Take a look at CEI in just a few seconds. He also says, please mash the like button and show your support for the fabulous channel. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, Sandollar's been here since the very start. So it's great to have people. I mean, how long have you been watching now, Sandollar? There's a few people out there actually been watching for about 8 months, 9 months now. I do appreciate you guys. I do appreciate you. All right, CEI. Silver, 24.20. US oil, 69.50. We've talked about that a few times. Long leg doji, 69.50. Could be explosive on US oil. Even looks like an inverse head and shoulders. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder form. Could be an explosive move there. We'll be watching oil over the next 24 hours for sure. Big, big, big potential in that one. TLT, meh. Boring as ahead of non-farms. US 10-year still stuck. Meh. They were interesting, then boring. We'll move over to CEI. Canberra Energy. Could it be the best trading stock, you ask? Because it's up a lot. Is that why you ask? Or something else? I'm not sure about best trading stock, man. But I'm glad if you're happy and you're in it. A good trading stock should always have really nice candles. So you want to have like really good defined hammers that follow through, defined shooting stars that follow through. You want great accumulation kind of zones. You can always tell a good trading stock by the way that it forms its channels, that it holds supports, that it holds resistances. In this case, it's not really holding levels very well. Like here's a great example. If this was a really great trading stock, then it should have held this zone much better than it did. So it should initially come down, hit that zone, find some support, bust it, pull up, bust it, do this, double bottom, go. That would be fantastic. That is an excellent trader's stock. But most penny stocks are not trader's stocks. The bigger stocks are, generally the more traders are on them, the more algorithms are on there, and the more technical they work. That's why people trade Apple a lot. In Australia, people trade a stock called FMG a lot. I'm happy for you. Resistance would be at around 78 cents on CEI. Company is worth 46 million. Tomaz says NVAX is trying to break out again. In fact, all of the bio style stocks are looking good, and we will take a look at every one that we have been watching recently very, very soon. Now, I also have a question coming in here from Ulrich Nielsen, DKK $50. Path, bit disappointing. It's top 10 in ARC weight ranking at the moment. Kathy hasn't mentioned Path yet, so maybe ARC is still accumulating. Tom, thoughts? Yep, well, Path is disappointing, but Path also never closed above. As we see here, we never got into our red zone. It could be still accumulating. Volume-wise, it's not really still strengthening or anything like that. There was a little bit of volume buying here. mean, Kathy Wood herself can't push through a stock. And this is actually a big risk to Kathy's funds. I don't think I've discussed it enough here on the channel. And you guys probably don't care that much. But the big problem with Kathy Wood is she has to own too much. She buys these marginal stocks. And because she buys these marginal stocks, what's occurring is she has too much of it. So she moves the market. Now, that's great if you long hold. And it's great if you're buying. But when she tries to sell and it gets out, it can be really, really detrimental. She has to sell such a huge portion of the actual stock. So I think that's a bit of a problem for her. I foresee in the future, unless the stocks become incredibly large. With this one, you really just can't touch it. This is why I say you've got to follow that accumulation. And only when it enters the participation phase, which is here, can we really look for that big strength. Thank you as well to the almost 1,000 people that we've got in here, guys. Thank you very much for the upvotes and for the comments and stuff. It does help us out. Chat. The more people that chat in the chat, it actually helps us out, it seems, on YouTube for sure. Deborah Smith says, love listing with my morning coffees. That's great. And Permit Fisher is with you, Ulrich. He has some path as well. Very cool. Scott Morgan says, what? Kathy buys, the stocks move a little. When she sells, it drops 15%. Well, it's also a bit around the idea of, yeah, I mean, there's not just that, is there? It's when she sells, she kills sentiment. A lot of people follow her stocks and they believe that she is going to absolutely, tank that stock, and then everyone freaks out. Her effects have been less recently, but some smaller stocks, yeah, there's huge risks there to her fund. She might sell 2% of her holding and it tanks the stock 10%. That's a huge risk to you as a fund holder. Let's have a look at NVAX. So this is one that I'm certainly bullish on. Now, I'm mostly bullish. I don't really care. I don't want to get into vaccine talk. I know people on both sides. Who cares? We're talking about trades here. The main thing that I want to focus on, though, is announcements, okay? So the reason that I thought NVAX, and I still think it could be a sleeper hit here, is because of European announcements. So if you go and have a look at the vaccine's still a bit marginal. Once Europe really take advantage of this, let's say they do, let's say it all gets through, we know biotechnology stocks go nuts. Now, it's worth $18.77 billion. When we compare that to something like a Moderna, which is a tank, that's how much is mRNA worth now? $157 billion. Now, I'm not saying NVAX is the next Moderna in terms of capitalization or anything. I'm just saying that when announcements come out for bio, it can be brutally crazy. So yes, this is very promising. Once we get past 260, we should be seeing a significant breakout that could go to 328. And this has very good technicals. You got resistances, you've got resistance, you've got great supports here. And boring as it's huge moves, but it is getting closer all the time. All the time. Neil Vip. Oh man, I can never pronounce your last name there. Neil, thank you very much. Neil Vipatapantha. I'm totally bad at it. Australian $7.99. Thank you very much. Hi, Tom. Could we please have a look at Euro Swiss? Wow, a currency. No worries. Wanting to go short from the April downtrend, looking at it on the daily. Surely can. Euro Swiss holds a bad place in many people's hearts. If you look at the monthly chart, you'll see why. When they dropped that floor on the Euro Swiss, it was bad. Never trade pegged currencies, guys. When it was pegged, which means they've got a floor under it, when they let that floor out, I think the currency dropped about 65 cents in about 5 minutes. It was crazy and really, really dangerous. So yeah, NVAX and the other bios are all looking good. Also, we haven't forgotten about old Roku. Check Roku out here, guys. Look at this. Straight in to our 2200 level. Oh, if we can get that closure above. Roku quite far down. We've actually now got a trough, a peak, a higher trough, and a higher peak, which is that close sucks a little bit. But after today's session, it could be a lot better. And if people like Roku, this thing is really down and out. Like you think even from here to here, it's still a 32% gain. It's dropped a lot. So there's some big movements that can occur here in some of these stocks. Again, it depends a little bit on the market actually holding up and being bullish and stuff, but the stocks themselves are showing some promising results there. Let's check out this Euro Swiss. But the same things that we always apply on every one of our stocks, every one of our indices, they're all the same kind of rules that you can really apply on currency. You need to understand one thing about currency. It isn't an inbuilt buying device. When you buy a stock and its quality, it will generally go up over time. However, when you effectively look to trade a currency, it has no fair value. It's got only what the central bank policy is. So you're looking to take a short in the downtrend. All right, let's have a look. I don't like the first bit I saw there. Or I don't know about short. So wait, you'll please take waiting to go short from the April downtrend. Look at it on the daily. Oh, I'm not sure about that, man. I kind of feel like it's created a double bottom and a decent base too. It's not like I didn't think about this level. This is resistance. This is the stepping stone for it. You can see it across the board. Put that line down there. Resistance, currently at resistance. I feel like it closes above here, and all of a sudden, the euro could be quite powerful. The other thing you've got to consider is also the DXY. The dollar index is on the 50 exponential. Come non-farm payrolls, which I'd probably wait for. If this gets through and closes below this line here, it could really get weakened. Now, if it weakens heavily, which one's going to be stronger, the euro or the Swiss? Generally, the euro will, which is a big part of the dollar index, will go crazy up, and it could go powerful versus the Swiss franc. So I kind of don't feel the short on that. I'm sorry, but I don't. I don't feel the short. I think I cannot disregard this level just yet. Wait for the turnaround. If you get smaller time frame lightning bolt like this, you can take shorts. But if you get that bullish move, I feel like it could be a trap for you. So yeah, with all currency, I usually halt the day before non-farms, get the non-farm out, and the next week I start taking all those trades. It gets crazy after that. Thank you very much for the donation. Taran Bablani, Canadian $6.99. Thank you very much. Hey, Tom, CDIM is up to resistance on the 1-year chart. ER or earnings release expected today. How high could a plus VE catalyst take it and support if not? Okay. If they're, all right, let's have a look at the stock. CIDM. All right. So earnings today. Fair enough. Let's just look at the resistance here. What is this? Movies, entertainment. $250 would be your next resistance, you would think. About $250 is what I would feel. So you're basically asking, where does it go next? $250 would be the next thing. And supports are clearly just here, man. So support clearly at 180. Worst kind of pullback you would hope to expect is about a 170. So 170, 180 would be my box. I would draw a box between this zone. Oops. Let's get the rectangle out. That would be my box there. And if the earnings release is good, I would expect it to go to 250. Smash that resistance. I wouldn't expect it to stop at the resistance based on where we are pre-market, etc. So good earnings release. Technically, it should dump into 250. Bad, you would think around that 170, 180 range. Hopefully that helps you. Got Alberlo $2 coming in here. Says, can you explain why $700 calls is bullish if now 734? Are you talk what do you mean, man? Are you talking about stock? I assume you're talking about Tesla, and you're talking about the ones that come up from before. Like, I think you're talking about these. No, I'm not saying it's bullish here for now. Like, it's not. Like, it's 19th of November. What I'm saying is it's interesting that there is all these calls sitting here, and this is a time when generally you get that big run on Tesla. I don't know why they're sitting there. Don't get me wrong. I don't know why there's 45.66 million calls sitting in November, but that back of October into November tends to be good. So I'm just wondering whether people are already seeing the technical here on Tesla, and then they're saying, well, they want to play the seasonal, and the seasonal goes back of October into November. So maybe they're trying to get the seasonal, so give it enough time to weather the storm and then get through. I think it's a stupid move. Hey, I wouldn't do it. It's too expensive. But they're giving it that time. They're seeing the technical. They want to go to the seasonal. And I feel like the seasonal is in this November period. You can look up Tesla stats. The seasonal is certainly there. Are you thinking in the money is bearish? Not really. Not just yet. It's too far off. But it's interesting to see it there. KZ says, look at the pound odd, better short there. You can check that one out for sure. All right, let's keep going. We've got some things. We've got people saying oil is on the move. Oil 69.50 almost. Yeah, it's right up at that resistance. That could be an explosive move if it does occur. We've got markets sitting at 0.27 up for the US 100, 0.22 up for the US 500, and the Dow up the best for today, 0.31%. Shanghai Comp also finished bullish again, which is good news for those Chinese stocks. I feel like they should be basing. They got crushed. Everyone wrote negative articles. I feel like fear hit the biggest levels it could have, and they're starting to really come good here. Even Alibaba finding that resistance and getting through that today. So this is good sign for people that are in these stocks or thinking about picking them up. Baidu, another one that's done a full lightning bolt. We've got the trough, we've got the peak, got the high trough. This is the first time we've seen it go bullish. A lot of people will have that severe fear with it now. You got to remember that. That's when Wall Street likes to start picking up stocks again. They usually take it to a point that's so unbelievable and so dangerous that you lose all hope. And many people will have lost all hope on these stocks. They'll be like, oh, it's too dangerous, etc. If you own Baidu, of course, take profit would be about 176.90 from that level. Conscious Investing says fintechs are looking really good. TIGR, SoFi, and Futu. Take a look at that, Tom. SoFi closed yesterday above the double doji. Want to share that with the community. All right, we'll have a quick look. It's a good first step for it. Yep. Not a double doji, though. One doji. This one, long. Well, I mean, you need a bit more leg, but it doesn't really matter. Who cares? Trough, peak, higher trough. Don't have the higher peak yet, but 1497 is a key zone. You are absolutely correct. It is a key zone. Key zone. Let's have a look at the other one you wanted, which is TIGR, and that was brutal a little while ago. TIGR, double bottoming. Very nice. Let's have a look at 2 hour. Yep, at resistance, breaking today. Another one that looks relatively strong. 18, probably the target there, and then 22.96. You'll note how far down this really is, trading at March lows again, finding that base there on TIGR. And then Futu is another one that we've watched quite a bit. Full lightning bolt, fully done here as well. Trough, peak, high trough, high peak. All in repair, all doing the correct thing. This one also looks like, let's have a look here together. Check this out. Yeah, perfect. Like very, very nice. Fully, completely, all repair is done from the first perspective. Yeah, nice stuff. Very, very nice. K Kennedy, $4.99. How far out do you generally purchase your options? A lot longer than you guys do. I usually use spreads, so I go quite far. I like to have that certain, just in case I'm a little bit wrong, I will give it that little bit of extra time to let it come through. Usually a few months. Yeah. I know that sounds insane to you guys, but yeah, usually a few months. When I'm selling credit, I sell pretty deep credit too. My credit usually is on average 3 to 6 months. Yeah, big credit, guys. Why? Because for me, I've found it to just be more successful giving the time both ways. If you're correct, then you give the time both ways, you tend to be just get more success, and you can put some decent money against it as well. So yeah, around those times, professionally, that's what I do. I do like the bigger, longer term ones, credit selling. All right, let's keep going. With other things I would do with options, if you have an explosive type of stock, it can be too expensive to buy. Like if you're just going to buy a straight call, and most of you guys do usually buy a call with like a week or 2 weeks in it, you'll find that you just need such a massive gains, and you've really got to get that explosive participation phase. So you've got to be damn sure that you're in a participation phase. And if you're not, you get crunched. Like that's really a big thing. You know, if you're not in a participation phase, like this one here, where watching end phase like a hawk, and this continuously can't close above. I mean, I'm already partial. I have a small scale here, but we can't get above this resistance to allow that further bullish big participation that you often get. Calls, you'd be getting slaughtered buying calls here. So let's say you had like a spread that you wanted to put in. The reason I like spreads is you might target way up here. Totally different scenario. Tanner says you can always close it out early and take the premiums you've made. Longer term options are less risky. Yes, I tend to believe that as well. They are way less risky. You really have got it on a knife's edge when it comes to short term. But I know that if you hadn't taken, let's say you took long term AMC, probably a disaster. So you need to know which stock you're doing it on. AMC is not one that you would want to take super long on. It's just so expensive to buy. Look at implied volatility if you want to think about how expensive your option really is, and therefore build strategies around it. That's something you want to be looking at. Implied volatility, very important. Jay Nibble, CHF $2. Thank you very much. Hey Tom, any thoughts on mRNA? Have a look. We hit the base the other day. We did. What is this? We have a fib of the whole move. Where'd it come back to? 38.2. Very nice. All right. So as we expected, that blow off, that is an absolute classic overextension blow off. I copped a lot of flack for that one. Fair enough too. I was kind of like selling a bit here. So I guess it's fair enough. It did eventually get back close to it, but yes, it was way, way, way higher. When you get these blow offs, this stock is well known for doing this. It's well known for having some incredible dumps on it as well. Let's take a look at the last couple of days. So we have a rejection style candle. We have a long leg doji, and then we've got a bullish close. I think that's overall bullish in terms of pattern here. We've got a nice base that's formed. We know NVAX is moving strong. We know other bios are moving strong. We'll take a look at them soon. And 410 is the obvious target here for Moderna. So yeah, I like the daily. I probably wouldn't. I mean, you should always go through all the time frames, but we don't have time to do everything. It's not bad. It's not bad. 410 still is the target. All right, let's start moving through a few of these stocks. Oh, we've got one more. Joseph de Sousa, I think it was. I can't remember now, Joseph. $9.99. Thank you very much. Got a picture of Steve Irwin there as well. Aussie legend, crocodile hunter, if anyone doesn't know. Really sad story behind his death, unfortunately. Can you give an explanation on how to do credit selling? I purchased your course, which is great. Just wanted to learn more on that topic. Yeah, so in that topic, the course, the Ultimate Trading Masterclass, is all about technical analysis. Obviously, it's all about advanced techniques there. Technicals bring together the pressing system. Now, you've got to attach options strategy to that. So that base actually will give you great levels to find options credit. I can't explain it straight away. We do have a course coming in options that will literally go through that. But let's say, for an example, that you're looking at doing credits. So where would you sell credits? I like to do on the put side quite a lot because the market is, again, a bullish style mobile. Let's say you have something like Square, and you might have a very nice trend line. Let's just say this was a glorious trend line. When it comes down, let's say around here, and it starts long leg doji, and then you see that bullish close, what you would do is you would put a spread underneath here. All right. Or you would even put a spread in very close on that. Now, why have you done that? You could, of course, say, oh, well, I'm going to take a buy long. But the alternative here is, even though you've analyzed and this is your buy zone and you go, okay, yes, I want to buy it right here, it could also sit there and do not much for a while. So the key to credit spreads is all about finding a horizontal resistance support level with some other reasons to be behind it. Still look for the market to move away, but because it's relatively close, you'll be able to put that put spread in. So you'll, of course, put your sell, put your buy, cover it up, get whatever the payout is. The payout probably is going to be only a 1-to-1, but you're going to have a lot more success at being able to pick those levels. The next thing you'll want to do is you need to go into the option strikes, and you need to or use the private community, FX Evolution's private community, to pull the option strikes, the biggest, most powerful option strikes around there, to get an understanding of how many puts are sitting at 250 on Square for that week. If there's tons of puts there, it's unlikely the market is going to let the price get underneath that point. Okay. So if there's a base there, if you've seen the technicals with the base and you're putting the credit spread together, that's when things get really powerful. But you've got to put it all together. And ideally, you're doing this sell coming in where the market's getting busted into that level. Or the market is making lightning bolts, and then you're selling the credit spread underneath the swing. Make sense? You want to always be looking for high IV stocks. High IV stocks will pay you better. There's plenty of them out there. Lightning bolts, you can use the same thing, key, many times. You'll need to go read the lines. What do I think of Spotify? I still like it, Mountain Fortress. I liked it the other day. They're doing a buyback. I've liked it for quite a while. It's had repair on it. It got above that 220. It got above the 227. It's pretty damn expensive here, but obviously 245 today. When I say expensive, like, it just keeps rallying every single minute. This thing's rallying up and up and up and up. It's got a lot to go though. Like, I actually like the target of around 260 here. I actually like the target of around 260. Let me just quickly get rid of this Steam. We don't want people chatting to me there. Yes, I do game sometimes, guys. About 260 would be the target that I've got set, or even a 280. I like Spotify quite a lot from the lows. And again, this is a stock that just fell out of favor. People stopped talking about it. I still think it's a powerful entity out there in the space. It went that little bit too low, which always shows me there were stop hunts and people really hated it. And then it rallied back up, and it's still rallying. And I feel like it could still rally for quite some time. Look at the fundamentals here. Look at the PS ratios. You'll want to bring in your fundamentals a little bit with Spotify. Rocktopus 306. Missed you a few times here today, over the last couple of sessions, man. Thank you very much. Canadian $5. What's on the go with the hype music, man? This is fine. Been watching again for a couple of days and don't think I've caught it once. And then you've got Nopers. Yeah, we don't have the hype music at the moment. I got hit by copyright. All right. Copyright. It's nasty, Rocktopus. I purchased it on this website, and now I've probably got to go purchase it somewhere else. So yes, copyright is part of the reason. Maybe I'll get it back for you guys soon. Sat says comments on PFE. We'll take a look at that soon. We've also got our stock check over very, very soon. Again, markets, guys, all coming in pretty strong here. 0.23, 0.28, and 0.33 for the S&P, Nasdaq, and Dow. We've got Tesla still at the peak here at the resistance, trying its best to get above that 740, a very key level here for us to do it. PFE, Pfizer. I like this stock a lot less than the Moderna and the NVAX. If I was to pick one, I'd go with the NVAX just because the possibilities are better, but the risks are also there if things fail. The Pfizer is a bit of a cumbersome, kind of slower moving beast. Look at this over the years. Look at that run. People forget the runs that happened back in the tech boom. Woo! That was huge. And then nothing happened for a long, long time. So when these run, they can run. I can't get behind Pfizer. I don't hate on it. I'm going to have a Pfizer probably next week. But yeah, I don't get behind the resistance here, unfortunately. Let's move through. We'll go to Square. Let's do the quick action here. Square still remains meh. Got the trend line, got the resistance here, 275. I don't really like it in between there, so whatever. Apple, movement down. Actually, a nasty candle here. Of course, a shooting star pin bar rejection. A lot of you guys will know it as. Could push it into 150 today, even though it's at 153.67 early. We all know if we close above this zone, there ain't no stopping Apple. I don't expect it to happen today due to non-farms tomorrow. However, you never know. That is still a bearish candle, regardless of how you think about it. So Apple is, you would have to think more bearish than bullish, but no follow through action. Remember, follow through pushes it here. I'm looking at that 150 to be that launch pole for Apple to move back up. Amazon hit the resistance we expected yesterday, sold off it, totally expected. If you're looking for more bullish action here on Amazon, you want it to get past this level, and then it'll move back to that 3,700 resistance, something like that. I don't feel like it can do it. I feel like it comes back down first, 3,400, the key support zone. I'll pop it in there so you guys can see the zone. Bang, there it is, 3,400. I would like it back at 3,400, even though it's trading 3,500 this morning. Google continues to be a beast in the trend. Not a fan of the price on that. Snowflake continues to stuff around. A 306 break should bring in 320. Let's hope it happens. Enphase, you guys know how I feel about this one. Constantly trading around that 178.80. I want to close above that so we can move towards 192. Microsoft, meh. Could even form a little double top here. That could be a early warning sign as well. If that does happen, that would be bearish for the rest of the market since Microsoft is so massive. No real bullish or bearish action currently though. RK at resistance, still moving up. Real resistance, I guess, probably there, about 125. I would not TA this, but a lot of people will say, Tom, it's a double bottom. It certainly could be. If it breaks through that, I expect some explosive moves, and it will be due to Tesla. ARKG, this looks good because many stocks are looking fine. Beam is looking really good. Above resistance, I'm hoping Beam to 120 and then 140. Yes, 140, ideally for Beam. AFLM says, market is super cheap. There you go. You've got it from AFLM. AMD, please. Maybe we can have a look at that. CHPT. No, I haven't done that one. Let's have a quick look. 13.75 earnings. Double bottom has happened. Even though it's up high. Where's this? 22. I would look for it to come back down to here if you're bullish it. I know it's above, but we know a lot of these stocks can't hold their resistances. It's going to be on the 50 exponential coming in the morning. Resistance previously. Pulls back. If you like it, that would be the area that I like it too. Cool. Michael DH, $4.99. Good morning. Chainlink finally broke through $30. Thoughts on the next levels to watch? Yeah, I think Link was undervalued, man. The FUD was real, hey? Let's have a look at Link. Yeah, this is a big level for it to break through. There's a few others like Vet and stuff as well that might start moving through. 32 first target, 32.50. And then next target, I'd be going pretty high actually. Let's have a look at the weekly. We'll get back to stocks in just a second, guys. I got big hopes. I got hopes and dreams, and those hopes and dreams end at $40. First target though, 32.50, I think. And then after that, feeling a bit greedy towards the 40. Some stocks here. Got AMD trading at 110.50. Kind of sick of AMD at the moment. That chart is really hard to read. I mean, really hard to read. Probably into consolidation for a little period. I don't like the chart. It's too hard to read, guys. Sometimes you just don't know where it's going. Back to the biotechs, all look good. Edit also looking strong here. You'll notice it's trying to break. This is a big resistance for Edit, which is at 68.29. Imagine if it can close above. Big deal. Could be some big moves as well, upwards of $90 on some of these. CRISPR, a very hated genetic modifier that seems to be coming at a base. Trough, peak, high trough. We talked about this level yesterday. Still looking for it to break past 128. It's a big deal. That level is key. Move that over here. We did Barber before. We certainly liked it too. It was pretty good. Barber base. SPLK continues to be good. As I've told you guys, boomer technology stock. Still looking at the inverse head and shoulders. There's lots of gains over a very long period of time, I'm sure. CRM continues to be strong after its breakout. Filled the gap just barely. I've got big ideas on that one, but very long-term approach. Disney is breaking. I don't like the stock. In fact, I'm going to take the stock off for the time being. We'll get rid of that. QCOM, boring, but still grinding slightly higher. TDOC is today the day for it. We just need that TDOC to actually close a 147 plus. Give us a 146.50, 147 plus. Trough, peak, higher trough, bam. Let's go lightning bolt. Bang. I would love to see that. TDOC, a sleeper in the dark potentially there. Twilio or Twillo, should have held better. I'm not happy with that stock. We'll come back to it. Nvidia, I think it's had its fun, but yeah, marginal at best. Pins, we've got a nice lightning bolt potential here. Very close, guys. So we're 1 minute off the market open. Roku also very good at resistance here. Would like to see that close bullish today. We're coming in here about 0.32% up. We've talked about all the levels. We've got long leg doji on the 2-day. We've got our resistances on the QQQ, so we'll load them up right now so you guys can see it. Resistance supports for the inside session, 378, 382. Key zones, non-farm payrolls tomorrow. Remember, volatility set to spike. SP 500 on the community trend line, and we're looking at 45.50 resistance and 45.20 for the support. Plenty of big biotech kind of moves there, and also Chinese stocks. So let's see how this market deals initially. Ding, ding, ding. We are open. We are open. AFLM just says, buy now. That's it. That's an ultimate bull. The ultimate bull is here. So we start slightly negative there on the session. Let's bring up, well, negative in terms of it closed down off the futures. Let's move over here to the Webull screener for a second. Do the percentage changes. What do we got leading? We've got Alibaba leading. Spotify also having a good day, 2%. Coinbase up thanks to Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything, 2.91, trading at 273. 300 should be resistance for that. Square, 1.67%. Moderna, 1.44%. CrowdStrike having an okay day. And on the negative side, we've got Okta continuing to get bashed there, Facebook down 0.35, but mostly not much red, almost all green. Papa Powell's doing good work. 382.22. Will we get to the 60 early here? So what is this, about 68, 69? On the US 100, that will be a 15,700 reading. That's where the resistance is. And I still would expect some sellers to come in around there for the day trade. Left field says, how many halts for BBIG today? Not sure. Let's have a look at BBIG. Well, it's not that exciting, guys. You promised me a lot. What's happening here? 9.12%. Maybe even skills is more fun than that. Nope. That's pretty boring. Skills was short-lived. How's AMC going? 43.72. It's right around where I'd hope it bounces. Obviously, 40.50 being the big bounce level and 43.50 currently the good zone. Scroll through all these sectors. UEC, what a find by the Super Chat community this was. I love this stock. Thank you very much. Whoever Super Chatted this, many blessings to you. What a spot. Great trade, guys. Love this one. Uranium Energy Corp. What a fantastic thing that was. Keep going, baby. 6.25 today. Wow. That's fantastic. Spot up 3.79. Netflix still breaking out here. Almost all-time highs. Did hit an all-time high today. Kind of expect this. I think Netflix is behind on the price action. It's been sitting since July of 20. We scroll up through here. How are the old beams going? Beams pulled back. I like it around that 111. It's a very risky stock though. Apple is pushing the market mostly today. 1.12 and Square, PayPal, etc. doing all right. Let's just have a look at PayPal. PayPal only up 0.5%. Airbnb also looking to break and start that resumption of its uptrend, of that big boost. All our little resistances here trying to get closed above so that we can keep moving up. Twitter needs to get a move on. Oh, let's have a look at Twitter. I think that's still fine. Nice close yesterday for it. Trough, peak, high, trough, high, peak. Getting greedy there, Dave. I do hope it turns out for you, though. Unity now up to new peaks. That's something we've been watching. NVAX up 2%, trying to get that 260 breakout occurring. I'd love it if it did that. Thank you very much. And US 100 now at 15,671. All right, guys. So it looks like we are trading into the top of the range here early. Be careful of the 15.7, I think, for the session. Also, 15.6 should be interesting buying. And if you're trading the US 500, you've got that 45.20 we've bought off a few times. And 45.50, even though I know it's 45.42 is the resistance here, I still think 45.50 might pose some resistance issues. I don't really expect it to get out of these ranges. In general, you don't see that before non-farms because it likes to touch like a resistance or support. But again, anything can happen. Ulrich Nielsen, DKK, $50. If you look up URA, uranium index, you can see why uranium stocks are exploding, hence the rocket on Penn. Absolutely. All those stocks were basing off, you've been trading the Penn, which has been very good. I'm glad for you. There's the uranium ETF. And this is what you should do. You should do. I mean, we've done the analysis on it before. Repair, trough, peak, high trough, bang. It's going crazy. And when a mineral or a metal or anything goes crazy, it can really run. Have a look at iron ore if you don't believe me. Bill Abbott, $9.99. Many thanks for all you do. No worries, Bill. Always here. Many thanks for watching as well, and to everybody in the community. So we're up pretty okay here early. I do feel like it's going to be a bit of an up-down kind of day, mostly just because of the non-farms. But we've got our little trap set for the resistance and supports. If it does break out past this level, you could always take it long if that's the way you want to do it. And obviously a break below this level is going to expose that 15 kind of 520 zone and 15.4 potential for the markets. MMAT looking good, bro. We'll check it out, Kevin. Let's have a look. Meta Materials daily. Yeah, it's going. Semiconductor stock had that closure out, had that big rally. It probably made you feel great. Bit of a roller coaster, but overall looking good. Once it closed out of this range, that was a great bullish buy. So well done. AF Allen says, we need news. Yeah, we do need news. We need something. We need action, guys. We need volatility. Look at this VIX. It's underneath 16. What the hell? But we'll get it soon. Thank you very much all for the upvotes today. Thank you for the comments. And of course, thank you for the super chats and your support in general. Big shout out to all the members. I do try to read as many comments as I can. And hopefully you guys get a lot of help and some kind of educational experience out of this as well. That's the whole plan. Give me feedback if you have any, and we will see you for tomorrow's big stream. Be there, guys. It's non-farm payrolls. We'll start probably 15 minutes early so we can look at all the crazy news and find out what's going on. Also, daily video coming at you at your close in the US, and of course, my morning over here in the Aussie land. Catch you for now. Would you be buying Amazon here? I like Amazon at 3,400, not the resistance. I don't like buying at the resistance. I like it here. That's just my opinion. Thank you so much. Bye for now.